Welcome, everybody, to podcast number 279. Do you have a fanatical roadblock removal system? Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. We've got Reno Schroeder, Levi Schroeder, and Effie. Hey, we all have the last name. And then Effie in the back. Say hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hi,
Yeah.
everybody. Good morning.
You might hear some noise. We're on the freeway. And we're in what we call the Rattlehog. The Rattlehog is an older Ford F-150. Reno, why do we call it that?
Call it the Rattlehog because it has an aftermarket exhaust system. And somebody, not me, somebody did a bad job putting it in, so it's really loud.
Yeah. And since I started the business, I haven't bought a new truck. I've always had a company. I realized I've never in my life had my own computer, my own phone, or my own truck. So I haven't purchased those. I've always had either a single cab or an extended cab, a Ford F-150 or a crew cab F-150 throughout my career, company provided. So instead of buying a new truck, we're focusing at Elevate on expansion. So you might hear some noise here because it's not very soundproof, and we're in the Rattlehog today. So we'll work on cleaning up this audio to make sure that it's just what it needs to be. But today we're going to talk about a roadblock removal system. So yesterday we talked about implementing zero tolerance, and the day before that, grading contractors. And so if you don't have a roadblock removal system, it's very hard to achieve production in any other shape or form. So let me read this and I'll expound on it. The primary focus of a team should be the identification and removal of roadblocks. And I will say that if you have the afternoon foreman huddle, the morning worker huddle, you should then at either 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or somewhere in there, have your 15-minute stand-up meeting with the project management team, the PM, the PEs, the office engineers, because you can bring the roadblocks that you find with that system, that meeting system, to the team for removal on a daily basis, so we can clear the way for work. If you're a PM with multiple jobs, you have the opportunity to check in with your people. It's fantastic. So when systems such as this exist, and the PM, super, and executive all work daily to remove roadblocks, then work is made ready and flow can continue throughout the project. Follow these steps. Create a visual roadblock map in a location where the foreman and project management team will see it, and huddle daily. Track the following: number of roadblocks found at a given time, the average time duration before the roadblock would have made an impact to production, the average time from identification to resolution. Number 3, use the 6-week make-ready look-ahead to identify work that is not ready and bring roadblocks to the surface. Ensure the team is collecting roadblocks in both the afternoon foreman huddle and morning worker huddle, and bring them to the team daily huddle as the first priority. And lastly, focus most efforts on removing roadblocks before implementing other systems on site. Now, here's how this works. Every project has problems. We need all of those to come to the surface. Trade partners will really start to tell you what their problems are, what their roadblocks are, when they're committed. So if you're using a CPM system and you're like, hey, let's make sure we're following the schedule. What are your roadblocks? Well, they can't see the schedule, where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. So they're like, I don't know, we'll just show up to work every day. But if you see the rhythm, the trades see the rhythm on the Takt plan, in a visual scheduling system, or in the last planner system, where they have their make-ready look-ahead plans after doing a pull plan, and where they can see the weekly work plan that they committed to together, then they will start to bring up issues. I've told you about this before. usually people don't find a reason why they can't get married unless somebody asks them to get married. Like once somebody's committed, then they start to be like, ooh, I need to figure, maybe I don't, what's the commitment? Like if somebody says, hey, we should get together sometime, it's no thing. But if you say, hey, let's get together on Friday at 5 p.m., you will find reasons to not to if you don't want to go. Or if you do want to go, you will find reasons that you can't if it is, in fact, a bad time, and you will attempt to find a better time. It's only in commitment that we find the problems or the roadblocks or the issues out ahead of what we're actually supposed to be doing. So Takt planning, using the last planner system, using visual scheduling systems, these are things that we absolutely have to be doing. Once the trade partners bring up these issues, we put them in a visual roadblock tracking system, and we get rid of those every day as our number one priority. Remember, roadblock removal systems are a leading indicator system, tracking percent plan complete, and other metrics are lagging indicator, other like performance indicators. Those are lagging indicator systems. We want to ensure that we're making work ready, and that's going to happen in a roadblock removal system. So literally, your project will not function without this. If a project manager or super says, what's my main job? Roadblock removal, baby. If the PX or general superintendent want to know what's their main job, roadblock removal. And let me give you a little analogy. I kind of think it's funny, although I don't think being in a gang or a mafia or cartel is too funny. But literally, I talked to a cartel member one time, and he was like, everybody has a card, and that card symbolizes their membership. And if you like borrow money from the cartel or you lose their drugs or something, there's different phases of people that you get to talk to. So the first person is just going to come and ruffle you up a little bit and remind you, maybe even without some violence, that you need to pay the money or figure it out or sell the drugs or get whatever you've done you need to get done. And if you still don't get it, the next person is going to come. They're probably going to cut you, maybe leave a little half-inch. And this is a warning for you kids, if you're listening, to not ever join any mafias, gangs, or cartels. So the second person is going to come and give you like a half-inch cut, maybe leave you in the hospital, but like leave you with like a reminder, like you need to get this done. The third person that's coming, you may or may not make it out of that situation. But the different levels of like mob bosses or cartel bosses are going to come at different phases of like your journey there with that. So the big dogs don't deal with the little stuff. The little folks, they don't deal with the big stuff. So depending on who you have showing up at your front door, you know whether or not you're in mild, medium, or major trouble. That's the same thing on a project site. So like when we're dealing with roadblocks, people need to be handling them at the location, right? We're going to warn those roadblocks like, all right, you need to get going. Okay, this is your warning. All right. Maybe you take that to the foreman, the superintendent level. All right, somebody's going to get cut. You're probably going to end up in the hospital a little bit. Roadblocks, you really, really need to think about this. You need to get gone and go away, or else you're going to end up in the hospital. And then the number 3, like if in the morning team huddle, the project management team has to bring those roadblocks to the project executive or the general superintendent or the wider team, somebody's going to die. Like those roadblocks are like, they are a target. Like we're getting out the baseball bats, we're getting out the weapons. Like we're calling in the big dogs right now. Like we need to make sure we're scaling. So if you could handle it on location, handle it. And that's the turn signal in case anybody was curious. If it needs to be escalated, we need to throw these roadblocks into the hospital. We need to call the superintendent and get the PM involved. If like this is a situation where this person needs to be, this roadblock needs to be dispatched to the spirit world, and we need to start to execute with extreme prejudice, we need to get the project executive, project director, general superintendent involved. And that's how it works. Widen your circle, scale, make sure that you're getting this done. We need to call out a hit on roadblocks before they affect us. And I want to go back to one thing that I had read earlier. and track number of roadblocks found at any given time, the average time duration before that roadblock would have made an impact from the time it was resolved, and the average time from identification to resolution. If you become fanatical about this and make it a science, then you will clear the path for work and create flow and have a remarkable project. And so that's literally the message for today. I apologize for the noise. Reno, can you denoise this before we publish it this morning?
Yeah, I could do most of it.
Okay, awesome. Reno, the producer, a little bit grumpy this morning, but she's a little bit sleepy, but he can work magic. Thank you. All right, everybody say on we go. 1, 2, 3. Holy cow, is everybody asleep? Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. All right, one more time. 1, 2, 3.
On we go.
It just got worse. Like, okay, one more time. Effie, wake up. 1, 2, 3.
On we go.
All right, love that. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.